The Beast, written by Roberto Hahn and adapted for audio by Mad Waffle. Ah yes, red marble grade, one of the steepest sections of route round these parts. The railroad, therefore, needed a helper engine to run up it. While MP was having a meltdown trying to figure out what locomotive could be up to the task, the old engineers started recounting tales of what was to them a legendary locomotive. According to the tale, the locomotive was the strongest engine to ever run on these rails. There was no train it could not pull, and no gradient it could not ascend. Some even thought it was the locomotivized form of the mythological T.V.R.R. bird, as, quote, whenever it put its feet down, there was always thunder, end quote. Of course, none other than the engineers who claimed to have witnessed it really believed the tale, as they did not think such a thing could be possible. That was until one of the executives who had heard the story decided to investigate. Having good connections with the neighboring railroads, as well as scrapyards in his relative vicinity, he asked around if anyone knew of such a locomotive. While they did not know any such engine, they did know of a rumor. At this point, the executive practically gave up, despite one scrapyard owner telling him that he'd ask around further. They exchanged contact details, and after that, there was radio silence. A few months had passed since the same executive had spoken with the scrapyard owner. Train crews were arriving at the interchange with their locomotives. They were just about to figure out the plans to switch the arrived cars into order. One brakeman came running up from the opposite end of the yard. "Hey, there's an old steamer back there." Eyebrows were raised. The crews were not told that another engine would be coming in today. One of the engineers tied his locomotive down, clambered down from the cab, and went over to see for himself. Not expecting much, he made his way over and stopped a short distance away. As he took in the sight, he froze in awe as he realized what this was. It had 2 sets of driving wheels and a massive boiler. As he clambered in the cab, he caught sight of a note stuck on the engineer's seat, written in awfully shaky handwriting, reading, quote, "Heard you needed a helper up that grade. I think I've got one for you," end quote. Looking around further, he found paper resembling a waybill with the destination listed, quote, Bryson, North Carolina, end quote. By 11 a.m. that day, the word had spread down to Bryson that a new locomotive had arrived on the railroad. Employees were there waiting impatiently for the interchange train to arrive. It was the switchers who got to see it first. Once the train was split up, the engine was brought to the roundhouse and examined by the shop crews. That executive came down from his office to see what was going on. Taking in the sight, he did not know what was happening, but then, in came the engineer who brought the train from the interchange. He clambered down from the engine once it came to a halt and walked over. He tapped the exec on the shoulder. "Sir, this is the one."